Thanks for joining us back at the channel. You know what this channel is all about. It's about making life easier, simpler, and improving performance. And here's your tip for today. Be conscious of forward stacking all your thoughts. What forward stacking is when you're not in the present situation, you're thinking too far ahead about all the things that you need to do. And you know when that's toxic, when you tend to think about those things you need to do in future over and over again. So that event that's 4 weeks away, you think about it today, and you think about it tomorrow, and you think about it the next day. The only time you can stop thinking about it is when that event has actually passed. But you overthink it. So understand forward stacking. Stacking of all those ideas, all those things you need to do for all the events that are coming up that you don't need to prepare for to the degree that you're preparing. That's the key. To the degree of which you're preparing. So when you're forward stacking, the definition of it is really over preparing. Catch yourself doing that and free up your capacity, free up your time by stopping that from happening. Know that you'll get that thing done and you'll get it done well. Put something in your calendar, block out some time, put it in your diary about when you will focus on that thing. If you don't dedicate a time, there's a chance without that discrete and succinct time that you'll focus on it, you'll start to focus on that thing, you'll start forward stacking all over the place. But a lot of time to it, so when it bounces into your mind, you can say to yourself, I've got a time planned for that, I'm not going to spend any more time thinking about it. Yeah, absolutely. You probably have some really good ideas now about that event in 4 weeks' time, but trust yourself a week out when you've allocated that time, that you'll start to focus on planning for that event, that you'll think of good things then. You don't have to spend all the time now thinking about them. Whatever tool or technique or principle that works for you, do that to stop you from forward stacking. Become consciously aware that you're forward stacking and then dismiss it. Tell yourself you're not going to think about that event now because, and here's the technique that might work for you, because you've allocated a time to do that. If it's a big event and it's 4 weeks out and you think you need 3 days probably to prepare for the event, sure. Allocate that time to be 5 days out. So if something happens on that day, that's 5 days out, that you're not able to do the planning, you've still got 4 days out up your sleeve and 3 days out. So you can bring that planning forward just a little to have that buffer of safety, but no more than that. And just know that that time that you've allotted to plan exists. So anytime you start to catch yourself thinking about all these events that are coming up, know that you've allocated a time to it and tell yourself literally you'll think about it then. Bring yourself back to the present. Because one of the key things, and I know, thank you for those of you that have been so patient to reach this point, the problem with forward stacking is while we're thinking about all these things in the future, we're not getting anything done now. And a symptom of that is when you keep writing lists, and most of your lists, or most of the new list you write, contain some things that have been on previous lists, so they keep getting bumped along. So if you are forward stacking considerably, and you've got the same item living from list to list, those two things are countering each other. You're not getting stuff done because you're spending so much of your time forward stacking, planning the future, getting it all lined up. Something to think about. Hey, everything I share with you, you know this, is something that I know has worked for me. It's not a concept that I've come across, it's something that I've used and it has worked for me. So I'll share what's worked for me. I hope it works for you. And so the real power of these videos I make is not only sharing what I know that has worked at least for me, but also in me making these videos, it helps me reinforce the right behaviors, which is something we all need to do. Okay, any questions? Because I have so few subscribers, put them in the comments and I'll answer them. And if you're not yet a subscriber, hit subscribe and I'll keep you in the loop with other tips, and even a thumbs up like is really cool. Thanks very much. Catch you in the next one.